Okay, well, haven't done this in a while, and everything's gonna look crazy because of the way the lighting is. It's just a super bright day here in Houston, Texas. So, hey everybody, it's Bo. Um, Happy Thanksgiving, or happy couple days after Thanksgiving. Hope everybody had a good time. And yeah, I think this gets mentioned on this week's episode, but while I was there, I got a chance to enjoy some Frog Morton Cellar with my family. We had a great night where me and all my brothers and my brother-in-law sat on the back porch, and I had specifically brought a ton of Missouri Meerschaum corncob pipes for everybody to enjoy, and then also specifically some Frog Morton Cellar, because these days I only smoke it if it's a special occasion, with one exception, and that is right now. And let me explain. Although this is kind of a special occasion, so I got home. I was going through my cellar, and at some point, I really should probably do like a video or something, kind of showcasing just the tragedy that is my cellar. It's there's not, saying on YouTube, oh, there's a lot of pipe tobacco. A lot of y'all have a lot more pipe tobacco than me, but it's more of a tragedy because of how disorganized it is and how unmarked. Like I've been very fortunate to get a lot of gifts over the years, and so I've got a lot of unmarked pipe tobacco that never got smoked, or only a little bit got smoked, and then it just got left in the bag. And so I don't know if I'm going to do kind of a whatever jar-ish situation with it or what. But while I was going through, I discovered a bag that was not unmarked. Pow pow! Frog Morton Cellar. Now, I don't know who gave me this. In fact, if you know the handwriting, and this is your handwriting, please let me know. And if so, thank you. I don't remember when I got this. I'm thinking that I got this when we were in St. Louis. I think that's right. In which case, it's not very old. And this bag hasn't been opened since I got it. It doesn't, from the outside, feel too terribly dry, but I've got a solution. Now, right now, this right here is my most recent 10 of Frog Morton that I opened. I actually opened this, gosh, I think it was right after moving to Houston, so earlier this year. And shortly thereafter, I had a bowl. Shortly thereafter, it dried out. And so I went to our local tobacconist here in Houston, the Briar Shop, and they hooked me up with, we've talked about this on the show, but I'll just show y'all one of these bad boys. Threw that in here with this, and didn't take long at all before it got all moisturized right on up. And it's great. So here's the test. I'm about to see if this bag is smokable or if it needs to go through the same process. It's actually in pretty good condition. Yeah, I'm thinking I could actually... I'm going to do the smell test. All right, so admittedly, this has a much better, I guess that's a jar note, right? Than the bag note. Don't know where this bag has been. But part of that could be that it's been, pseudo-aging in a plastic bag, which is never recommended. So then the question is, do I take this and go through the exact same process, or do I mix it in with what I've already got? I'm leaning on going through the same process. In fact, even as I'm saying that, I'm just going to go ahead and do the same process. I mean, if it ain't broke, let's not try to fix it. All right, so in it goes into the jar. I know there's going to be like way too much room. This is not like how you would necessarily age the pipe tobacco, mind you. So yeah, like that much tobacco, that much air, it's not ideal. But you know what? That's what we're going for. Throw on the pack in. Tighten that bad boy up. Boom. Give that maybe a week or so, and I will check in and see how it does. Now, here's the great thing. Even though I found new Frog Morton, and it's not quite ready to smoke yet, to me it balances out, right? So I can go ahead and smoke a little bit of the good stuff, even though it's not necessarily a special occasion. Because it is, well, but it is a special occasion, because when any new found Frog Morton is a special occasion, right? I think we can consider that the case. So I'm just gonna have it's a small bowl. This is a Missouri Meerschaum Dwarf pipe, and it's one of the Cobbett series. And I'm smoking this intentionally for two reasons. One is I don't have just a ton of time, and it's a good, good small bowl for that. If you don't have just a ton of time to just have a really long smoke. But the other is because I've been thinking about some stuff, and I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna go onto YouTube. We haven't had a video, I don't think, since our 300th episode. I'm gonna go on YouTube and share my thoughts. And this is unplanned, unscripted, all that kind of good stuff. But over the last few days, I've just been thinking a lot. Because we have been getting a lot of feedback over the last few days. And sorry. By the way, if anybody, I can't imagine anybody's watching this video, and this is your first introduction to me or Country Squire Radio, but in the event that it is, first of all, hey, welcome. Country Squire Radio is an amazing podcast. I say amazing in kind of a self-serving way. We've got over 300 episodes of content out there to kind of bring you into the world of pipe smoking through various education on the industry, education on the various shapes, pipe tobaccos. We got reviews, and then we also talk about the culture that surrounds it and kind of the artistic nature of smoking a pipe in the modern era. All right, now then, I'm about to light this with this. Don't at me, because I know some people have a problem with that. Well, I know most of y'all don't. So. Mm. Mm. All right. Sorry, you gotta forgive me. It's just not very often that we get to enjoy this these days. On to my thoughts. So, very recently on Country Squire Radio, the podcast, available at countrysquireradio.com, we did an episode called The Pipe Smokers of Star Wars, or no, Ewoks, the Pipe Smokers of Star Wars. And why we did this video is because a few weeks back, about 2 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken, we had, I can't even remember how the subject came up, but I made the mistake of saying there is no pipe smoking in Star Wars. John David said, well, there's hookah. I was like, yeah, it doesn't really count. And then several, I know we kind of put Brian Levine, we kind of put him, not necessarily under the bus, more like put him in the position of putting us under the bus. But several people reached out and said, no, there's this Ewok. There's an Ewok smoking a pipe. The Ewoks smoke pipes. How do you not know this? Yada, yada, yada. And the thing that made Brian's particularly damning is that he pointed out that he's actually told me this before. And as both a pipe smoker and a Star Wars fan, it's embarrassing that Brian Levine would have to educate me multiple times on this fact. It was fun. It was very fun. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with it. Yeah. A little bit windier day. So, from those conversations, we thought, you know what, why don't we actually do this? We do this all the time. We'll do episodes where we talk about pipe smoking in various franchises or in various films or television. We do Heroes of the Bowl, and like specifically Heroes of the Bowl, where a lot of times we'll kind of mix and match that sort of thing. It required a little bit more of a larger focus. Also, we did kind of some looking around the internet, and there just wasn't a whole lot. There was a lot of people asking questions about pipe smoking in Star Wars, but not a lot of people making content around it. So we thought this would be a fun episode. We actually looked at it from the standpoint of uh, of approaching it from two different facets. One was to kind of look at the pipe smoker, which in this case was an Ewok, and what that means for the film, and kind of what is being communicated in the moment. Because again, that's something that we look at. We look at kind of the artistic nature of the pipe, and how that kind of fits into pop culture and literature and film. And then we were also going to kind of pair that up with a look into specifically wood stemmed pipes, because in the show, the Ewok is actually, it's straight wood, uh, probably carved out of one of those giant trees on Endor. Um, and we'd never really done a look into wood stemmed pipes before. I mean, we've talked about different kinds of shanks and that sort of thing, but like I'm talking all the way to the end, nothing but wood. And so John David actually did a lot of research on that. Um, and as we got going, as we started recording, uh, as I tend to do, like to wax poetic. And so we got super into the pipe as a tool for communicating story, and why that would have been used in this particular story. And it got, I think, probably deeper than a lot of people thought it was going to get. It got a little bit broader than a lot of people thought it was going to get, and definitely got deeper, to the point where when it was kind of time to transition into the wood stem nature of it, we kind of looked at it, we're like, wow, this is actually a pretty full episode in of itself. Why don't we actually do just a straight wood stem pipe episode later, and kind of let this stand for what it is? After all, it's stuff we did. Now, that was the decision we made, and I stand by that decision. And I think John David does as well. And we also want to make sure that we give the topic of a wood stemmed pipes and the history there, and the various cultures in the real world that kind of stems from. No pun intended. We want to do that justice, right? And so that's definitely coming down the road. But one of the reasons why we wanted to structure the show in this type of way is because John David and I have always seen the pipe community as consisting of kind of two groups of people. And we've kind of internally like qualified these two groups of people. And I say internally, it's possible like my terms from this is coming from my conversation with John David. He may have actually pulled these from the internet, and I just don't know that. So I'm not trying to claim anything. This is just the way that we've always talked about it. But we always kind of see the pipe community through these two lenses. And that's the pipe nerds and the pipe geeks. Okay. Pipe nerds and pipe geeks. And we've talked about this a little bit, although I don't think we've talked about it much on the show recently. And maybe it's time that we actually did a podcast episode, like a pipe culture episode on this concept, because I have never seen a reaction to an episode of Country Squire Radio that more clearly defined these two groups of people than this episode on the Ewoks. I don't think Ewoks have been this controversial since they first appeared in Return of the Jedi. The episode, you either loved it and you wrote into the show and you told us, or you hated it and you wrote into the show and you told us, which is fascinating. It's just absolutely fascinating, and all of the feedback is welcome. I'm not trying to knee jerk get mad at somebody who doesn't like it or anything like that. I mean, all of that feedback is widely appreciated. And we certainly respect everybody's thoughts, and if you put the time and effort into listening to us and everything, and something doesn't land for you, there's nothing wrong with sharing that with us. We were all for that. That being said, this kind of divided that community. So pipe nerds, so this is the kind of person that's like really super into the various techniques, the various tobaccos, get like really thorough into the actual tobacco reviews, and also getting kind of really deep into the grain, or the lighters, the fact that I'm using a Bic lighter to light my pipe. The pipe nerd will either have a good argument for why this is the only way to light your pipe, or they will have an argument as to why this is the terrible way to light your pipe, and how dare I. The point is that that's the angle, that's the aspect of the pipe community that they kind of reside in, so to speak, or that they kind of stem from, that kind of part of what brings them here, and that's what they thrive in. And there's nothing wrong with that. In many respects, John David is a pipe nerd, and a proud pipe nerd from that standpoint. And we've got several episodes that are kind of much more pipe nerd in focus and in scope than others. That being said, in today's world, and I think this is true for probably decades, at least the last decade, if not the last two, there is also a community in the pipe, and within the pipe community, that is a pipe geek. And this is somebody who loves the imagery that surrounds the like smoking a pipe or just the pipe itself, that sees it as an art form, that comes to the pipe more for kind of capturing a uh, uh, kind of an iconic sense of history and connects with what's being communicated when you choose to smoke a pipe, right? Um, that kind of person loves taking a look at the uh, the artisan pipes and kind of what's the inspiration behind where this pipe came from. Not just does this smoke better? Yes, that's important, but that's not necessarily the big focus. It's more of like what was the inspiration here? What was the carver trying to get at? Or, if a pipe is being showcased in a film, well, what's the deeper meaning, right? There's kind of a desire to kind of go deeper besides, deeper towards the story, towards the meta narrative than just the function. Pipe geek. It should come as a surprise to no one that I'm more of a pipe geek. So John David and I think we thrive in that, and that we're able to kind of be present and be part of the community from two different angles. Um, and we've had episodes like this one, and like I would argue that a lot of our, obviously the pirate series is very much kind of tied to that. Pipe smoking heroes, pipe culture, all of these are very much kind of tied to that pipe geek community and that pipe geek pull. Um, so anyway, all that to say, I don't really have like a point here. I guess I'm just kind of sharing my thoughts as I've been processing getting a lot of these emails in, and just really seeing these two groups of people that we are very much aware exist, because we are those groups of people. We recognize that. But just seeing them react to Ewoks. Like I said, the pipe geeks loved it, the pipe nerds hated it. And hopefully at the end of the day, you know, no matter what kind of your interest is, I mean, we've covered a lot of topics. There's going to be more episodes, just as there have been. Like the Ewok episode was nothing new to Country Squire Radio. We've done these kind of episodes before, and we will do these kind of episodes again. But we've always done them fairly sparingly. I think John David, especially being kind of our subject matter expert, we always lean towards the pipe nerd side of things, but hopefully keep a good slice of the pipe geek side of things in, so that we're not just, a redundant regurgitation of technique, that we're actually providing something to the conversation that's a bit more thoughtful and not just technical. But sometimes it's good to have fun, and sometimes it's good to take a look at, deeper things that are going on just besides technique and that sort of thing. So anyway, we exist in that tension. And, in the end, all the negative feedback, all of it was very affirming and very respectful. So I'm not trying to say people were pitchforks. The only time we ever had something like that was, when was the only time we ever had something like that? I can't. Oh, hello, Frog Morton Cellar. All right. Yeah. Anyway, maybe that's a conversation for another time. But anyway, yeah, so there you go. I'm going to finish up this bowl. I've been too busy talking and not enough enjoying this. I hope y'all are having a good day. Forgive my crazy ramblings. And yeah, we will have a new episode for y'all next week. Hope that y'all had a great happy Thanksgiving, and that y'all have happy holidays. We'll talk to y'all soon.